Hello. So yeah, I'm here. I was waiting for people to come in the live stream before I start talking, but I wanted to show the connection between uh, the attack on So if you, what connects these two cases? What connects the Dylan Roof case and the Charlie Kirk case? Well, in both cases, it was an attack on religious people. There might actually be more connections, but obviously the most blaringly obvious connection is there in both cases it was an attack on religious people, very profoundly. Like the first one with Dylan Roof, he murdered religious people in a church, and then Charlie Kirk was like one of the biggest religious preachers, and he was murdered. So in both cases, they're very well connected because it was an attack on religious people, and specifically Catholicism, Christianity, right? So, and while people might turn around and say, "Oh, well, they think the Dylan Roof case was more motivated by race," I mean, one could also argue that actually the fact that he did it in a church, like these weren't just black people on the street. These were black people in a church. That's very significant, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think it's very significant that he did this in a church. So in my opinion, when people get murdered and it's on the street, right? Of course, that's also very bad as well. That's also sad. But in this case, in Dylan Roof, murdered people in a church, it makes me think that there's some sort of satanic or anti-Christian, anti-religious sentiment there as well. And obviously, with the second case with Charlie Kirk, I mean, there's clearly an anti-Christian, anti-religious sentiment there with Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was one of the biggest like religious preachers, a devout Christian, or anyways, he was religious. I'm not sure if exactly he was Lutheran or Presbyterian or Catholic or Christian, but he more or less believed in God and he was very religious. So I wanted to show the connection between these two cases because it does seem like religious people are under attack. And of course, the fact that they gave him Burger King, I'm not here trying to promote Burger King and McDonald's. I'm trying to point out the fact that these people who are running these investigations, I don't think they can be trusted to do a proper investigation, especially after, we all found out that they gave Dylan Roof Burger King. Can you really trust these investigators to do a proper investigation? So this is the point of this stream, right? I mean, if they're gonna go and give him Burger King after he murders a bunch of people in a church, people in the media were first to quickly make it about race, but I actually thought it could also be very much anti-religion. The fact he did it in a church, the fact that Dylan Roof murdered people in a church is very significant. Very significant. So then for these people who are in charge of arresting these people in charge of arresting Dylan Roof, for them to go and give him Burger King? Who are these people in charge of arresting Dylan Roof? They go give him Burger King. This guy just murders 12 people, like however many people in a church, and then they give him Burger King? Hey, there's been people who were arrested for looking suspicious. There's been people in America who literally broke no laws and were arrested for looking suspicious. And you better believe they didn't get Burger King or McDonald's. And those people got their face bashed in. The police bashed people's face in. The American police have arrested people for looking suspicious. Innocent people who've done nothing wrong, the American police have arrested these people, beat them, tasered them, stripped them naked, did a strip search, laughed at them, tasered them, beat them, bashed their face in. And these are people who literally broke no laws. And they didn't get Burger King. They didn't get McDonald's. They literally got their face bashed in, they got tasered, they got beat up just for looking suspicious. They broke no laws, and their only charge is resisting arrest. And they weren't even resisting arrest. So American cops, like, how do you explain that American cops will go to perfectly innocent people who've done nothing wrong and then arrest them on the basis that they were being suspicious, beat them, taser them, humiliate them, steal their Canadian tourist money, tell them to go back to Canada? Like, how do you explain that American cops are evil like that? They go and attack innocent people, and they even put innocent people in prison. But then meanwhile, you have Dylan Roof, who murders people in a church, and the American police give him Burger King as a treat. The people, the American police, something's going on there. They're satanic, or they're satanic, evil, sociopaths, psychopaths. How do you explain this? How does anyone explain this? This is not fair. This is not fair. There's people in America who literally were innocent and were beat up by the American police just because they looked suspicious. And those people never got justice. They never got nothing. They never got justice. They never, they got injuries. They got hospital bills. And do you think that those people that were arrested for looking suspicious by the American police, you think the American police gave those people Burger King or McDonald's? I don't think so. So how do you explain a man who murders innocent people in a church, and then they give him Burger King? How do you explain that? No wonder people were outraged when they heard about this. Dylan Roof getting Burger King. So if we can't trust these people to bring justice on, like if these are the same people, more or less, like I'm generalizing. I'm not generalizing. I'm saying the American police, right? The American police have screwed up many cases. The American police have put many innocent people away in prison. The American police are corrupt. So there's a big connection between these two cases because they were both attacks on religious people. And even when they arrested Tyler Robinson, it doesn't sound like they gave him really rough treatment, It sounds like they're really giving him due process. Like, all of these guilty murderers are getting due process. But then we have innocent people, like, for example, innocent Canadian tourists in the United States who just happen to like to snoop around in the White House. Well, not snoop around, if you're a tourist, that's what you do. That's the point of being a Canadian tourist, okay? If you're a Canadian tourist and you've always wanted to visit the United States, and you're given a tour of the White House, and then you accidentally, walk into the other room. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the United States, it's not like the United States gives people due process. They don't. There's a lot of innocent people who were arrested in America who were never given due process. They were sent to Guantanamo Bay. Their rights were immediately taken away. They weren't given a fair trial. They weren't even given a trial at all. And those are innocent people. But meanwhile, you have actually guilty people like Dylan Roof who murdered people in a church, and then they get Burger King. Not only do they get due process, these guilty murderers who just murdered people in a church, not only does America give these people due process, these guilty people, not only do these guilty people get due process, but then they even get a treat. They get Burger King. Burger King. How does anyone explain this? So of course I can see why the people are outraged. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Robinson, if not only are they so carefully, they're going to give this murderer due process, which, listen, I'm for due process, but they're not giving due process to everyone. They don't give due process to innocent people. There's a lot of innocent people that were framed by the police. You remember all those police officers that were caught planting drugs on people? So I'm all for due process, but they don't give due process to everybody. The only people who seem to get due process are actually guilty murderers. The guilty people, the guilty murderers get due process. The innocent people like you and me, we don't get due process. We get corrupt judges, corrupt lawyers. They railroad us in the courtroom. They twist the story. They put so many innocent people in prison. So I'm all for giving people due process, but what my complaint is the fact is that they don't give everyone due process. They give these murderers, they give these evil satanic murderers special treatment. They give them due process. Not only do they give them due process, which I do believe that, so I do believe that obviously due process should be given to everybody. But what I'm saying, my complaint is it's not given to everybody. It's not given to innocent people. Due process is not given to the actually innocent people. Due process is given to guilty people like Dylan Roof. Due process and Burger King. Due process and Burger King is given to guilty people like Dylan Roof. Due process and maybe they did give McDonald's to who knows, right? I mean, they probably it doesn't seem like they're really going hard on this Tyler Robinson guy. It doesn't seem like it. There's people who walk down the streets of America just for looking suspicious were beat up by the American police and given were treated more roughly. And this Tyler Robinson guy, it doesn't seem like they're being rough with him at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him McDonald's. That's my question. And the point of this is how can we really trust these people? How can we trust these people to do a proper investigation when there's a man, Dylan Roof, who murders people in a church, and then the investigators, the police, they give him Burger King as a treat? How can now we trust these same more or less same people, these American police, to do a proper investigation into the Charlie Kirk assassination? So I think that's a fair question. And then Leone, so let's go to some comments. Leone came in and said they have to feed them. It's against the law not to. I never said that they can't feed him, but why does he get Burger King? Burger King is a treat. Well, I mean, to most people, to some people, you know, obviously not everyone likes Burger King, but Burger King is a treat. Huh. It's like, what if they imagine if they gave him like a birthday, like a cake and caviar and like a champagne, like Burger King is a treat. Why are I'm not saying they don't feed him. Obviously, people get fed. I'm not denying that he should be fed. Of course, anyone who's especially when they're given due process and they're in prison, obviously everyone needs to be fed. I never said that he should be fed, but like the reason people got outraged over this when it happened with Dylan Roof is because they gave him Burger King. Burger King is a treat. That's like the police like that's a slap in the face to the victims in the church. Giving a murderer, a suspected murderer Burger King, that's a treat. That shows you that these American police, they're corrupt. There's more going on to the story. So no, I never said, "Oh, you can't feed them." Of course, people are being fed. I'm not denying that people need to be fed. But what I'm saying is why give him Burger King? Why would you give him champagne? Why would you give him delicacy food? Like why would why I thought he was supposed to get the standard prison food like everyone gets. So I do see a pattern. I am a person, I am a mathematician, aspiring scientist, and I am a person who sees patterns. And I do see a pattern where these satanic people are going after the most religious, the most pure, the most religious, the most innocent, the most pure. So let's start from the top, not from the top. Well, let's just name some prominent people who were assassinated, crucified, right? Jesus Christ was assassinated, crucified. Mother Teresa apparently was killed. Um, Princess Diana. Princess Diana was such a pure, loving woman, and she was murdered. They murdered Princess Diana. Um, Prince, Prince. Prince was not only a great musician, and Prince was a great performer. He really cared about the audience. But Prince also was a nice person, And if you listen to Prince's music, Purple Rain, and about the doves and everything, you know. Prince was a nice soul as well, and they murdered him. Uh, Aaliyah was an angel. Everyone said it that Aaliyah was she had such positive music. She was so uplifting. Aaliyah was such a positive, uplifting person. They murdered Aaliyah, who was an angel. Like she was a beautiful woman. She was not only beautiful on the outside, but on the inside as well. She really was an angel, Aaliyah. She was great. So they murdered Aaliyah, Princess Diana, Prince, um, Mother Teresa. Who else? Well, Charlie Kirk, of course, was a wonderful religious man, a preacher, a noble man. Who else did they go after? Um, but yeah, a lot of people, a lot of innocent, nice people are getting murdered. Um, can anyone in the live stream think of anybody else that was murdered? That was also like a nice, good person. Amy Winehouse. I don't. I still believe Amy Winehouse was murdered too because Amy Winehouse. They tried after she had been murdered. The media tried making her look like making fun of her. They tried making Amy Winehouse look like a drunk and like incoherent. And I remember a lot of sketches, comedy sketches, where they really went after Amy Winehouse's character and they made her look like an alcoholic and then I actually recently, a few years ago, I saw lots of interviews where Amy Winehouse gave. And Amy Winehouse was not some alcoholic drunk like they portrayed her in the media. Amy Winehouse was very intelligent. She was very nice, very intelligent. And while she may have had an issue with alcohol, I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that she might not have been an alcoholic. She definitely wasn't like the way they portrayed her. And she was a really nice, respectful person. So that's another suspicious death was the Amy Winehouse. But yeah, let's go to comments. Can anyone else think of anyone else who was murdered? Oh, well, of course. Okay, of course. I forgot three big ones. Martin Luther King. Of course, Martin Luther King was also a nice man. JFK. JFK was assassinated. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X assassinated, and then Michael Jackson. Apparently, people around the world, even though a lot of people think he's guilty, I mean, it's so confusing. The media really made Michael Jackson look like he was guilty. But then there's all these people coming out saying that they never believed Michael Jackson was guilty. They believe the satanic people went after Michael Jackson. A lot of people believe Michael Jackson was innocent. He was framed, and they murdered Michael Jackson. So a lot of people who are actually might very well have been angels, like really nice, pure people. A lot of these people have been getting murdered by these satanic, evil. You see what I'm saying? So there's definitely a pattern, right? And if we just list it, right? So like Jesus Christ, Mother Teresa, Princess Diana, Prince, Michael Jackson, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, JFK, Charlie Kirk. Um, so there's a lot of people. I hope I didn't forget anyone. I'm sure. Obviously, I don't know everyone who was murdered, but the Satanic Church, or not the Satanic Church, the Satanic people, whoever the Satanic people. There is a version of the church which is satanic as well. But what I'm saying is the Satanic. Oh, and the Pope, right? So the Pope was recently died. Who knows if that was from natural causes? The Pope recently died. Also, the Queen of Canada, was recently died. So all of these deaths, we don't know for sure if they were from natural causes or if these people were murdered, right? Um, but yeah, Alexei Navalny. A lot of people say Alexei Navalny was a good person and he was killed, murdered. So there definitely is a pattern. I mean, a lot of these people that are actually nice, wholesome people seem to be getting murdered by these satanic, evil, satanic people. So also they're constantly doing purges, right? So COVID was a purge. So these purge movies, a lot of times, right? These Hollywood movies, they are some sort of precursor or some sort of there's some sort of ploy to try to throw people off of the scent, so to speak, right? So for example, um I recently found out that there are these certain movies that where you think Hollywood was doing these people justice, but actually Hollywood was defaming people. So, for example, Aaron Brockovich, the Aaron Brockovich movie, Aaron Brockovich was like a pioneer. Aaron Brockovich gained the support of so many Americans because Aaron Brockovich went after these evil big corporations for dumping toxic waste, causing cancer, causing polluted water. And the Julia Roberts movie with Julia Roberts, I remember watching the Julia Roberts movie. Now, this is when I was young. And, I still, even at the end of the Julia Roberts movie, which starring Aaron Brockovich starring Julia Roberts, I still even saw Aaron Brockovich as a hero overall. But apparently, I recently discovered through the Reddit and all these chat rooms that actually the Julia Roberts movie, the Aaron Brockovich movie played by Julia Roberts, they threw massive shade at Aaron Brockovich, especially at the beginning of the movie where they try to suggest or insinuate that Aaron Brockovich was like an ambulance chaser type of person who was constantly trying, who like they almost insinuated as if she was trying to get rich by faking a car accident and suing the insurance companies. You know what I mean? Like, so I do remember those scenes at the beginning of the Aaron Brockovich movie. But overall, at the end of the movie, I still saw Aaron Brockovich as a hero. And Erin Brockovich, sure enough, she gained the support of so many people in her fight against these evil corporations. But now, this Hollywood movie, apparently, Erin Brockovich, starring Julia Roberts, it wasn't. Like it was actually kind of they were throwing shade at her. Julia Roberts was throwing shade at Aaron Brockovich. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who watched the movie who didn't know that Aaron Brockovich had been involved in, a car accident and where she tried to get money from, and people might not have known that, right? They only saw Aaron Brockovich as a pioneer for the environment. So a lot of times these Hollywood movies, and I'm not reaching, people are gonna, I know I might be reaching a little bit, but honestly, so the what I want to talk about is the purge movies. They do purges. COVID was a purge. COVID was like a thinning of the herd. COVID was a purge. They do all these purges. World War II was a purge. Even a lot of people in history books, they praise the Renaissance, the Italian French Renaissance. They say, oh, after the bubonic plague, they say, oh, after the bubonic plague, the plague which killed thousands of people, then they all say, oh, then there was a beautiful French Renaissance. Imagine history books like framing a bubonic plague and a major plague which kills thousands, millions of people, and then they're like, oh, and then after the plague, there was a beautiful Italian French Renaissance period. Like, so the government and the world, they're constantly conducting these purges. And these purge movies, they really do this. They really purge people. Um, and they do ethnic cleansing, and they are doing ethnic cleansing in Palestine. And even Charlie Kirk had even admitted that he doesn't like what Israel's doing because Israel is practicing a form of ethnic cleansing, where they're ethnic cleansing, you know. So they are doing purges. They're constantly doing purges. Um, and it's really scary. And so Hollywood, a lot of times these Hollywood movies, especially even the good ones, even the ones I thought were supposed to be good, like Erin Brockovich, where they showed how what a great pioneer she was. Then I realized after the fact that that whole Julia Roberts movie with Erin Brockovich, they actually threw Erin Brockovich under the bus a few times. They tried to suggest that maybe she wasn't such a hero, like, because she already had the support of people. Erin Brockovich, before the Erin Brockovich movie, apparently Erin Brockovich already had people's support. They already saw her as a pioneer. And then you go to watch the Erin Brockovich movie, and they start portraying Erin Brockovich as an ambulance chaser. She gets hit by a car, and she tries to sue the insurance companies. And then they even, when Erin Brockovich was going to get the information, when she was, they tried to make her look. And so, yeah, there was. Oh wait, the cockroaches. They showed Erin Brockovich in the house living with cockroaches. That wasn't a really good homage to Erin Brockovich. I mean, sure. I mean, if she lived in poverty, they could show her that she lived in poverty. But like to show her in the house with cockroaches, that's kind of not nice, right? So a lot of these Hollywood movies, they'll take these nice people and they'll slander them. They'll slander these nice people. In fact, if there's a Hollywood movie, which I believe there will be, because that's what they do. If they come out with a Hollywood movie about Charlie Kirk, I do believe they will. I believe there's going to be a big Hollywood movie about Charlie Kirk. They did it with Snowden. They did the same thing with Edward, not the same thing, but they did a movie about Edward Snowden, right? They did a movie about Edward Snowden, the guy who leaked the secrets for the NSA, the National Security Agency. They did a major movie about Snowden. I do have a feeling in my intuition they're going to do a major movie about Charlie Kirk. And are they really going to portray Charlie Kirk in the right way? I mean, are they going to really do him justice when they show the Charlie Kirk movie? And who's going to play Charlie Kirk, like in the Charlie Kirk movie, right? Who's going to play Charlie Kirk? I think all the Hollywood actors are pretty bad. I mean, I don't trust any of them. They're all pretty much into sick, evil stuff. So if they do have a Charlie Kirk movie, I hope at least they get an actor who's like some new guy who's not involved in all of this corrupt Hollywood stuff. Maybe some new actor to play Charlie Kirk in the movie. But I do have a feeling they will do a Charlie Kirk movie, and I think it would be a nice tribute to Charlie Kirk for them to do a movie for him. But like I said, Hollywood, like there's a whole side of Hollywood. They're satanic, they're evil. Did you see that Lady Gaga new dance music video that she came out with? It's like these creepy dolls. It's the most satanic, one of the most satanic music videos I've ever seen. It comes, of course, coming from Lady Gaga, and she talks about dancing until she's dead. And the whole song, she's gonna dance till she's dead, dancing till she's dead. She shows these dolls, these satanic dolls in the background dancing. It's one of the most creepiest music videos I've ever seen. So Hollywood, they're satanic. They do all this creepy satanic stuff. I remember the performance at was it the VMAs or was it the Eurovision Song Contest? Madonna with the burning crosses. I don't know why Madonna loves to show burning crosses. Madonna, she loves to show burning crosses. So a lot of these people who pretend to be religious, a lot of these people who pretend to be religious are fake and actually are satanic. On the other hand, though, Charlie Kirk was a real religious person. He really was a preacher. He really was a faithful person, a pure person. And the satanic people, the evil satanic cult, they are going around murdering all of these innocent, pure people. Like they went after Princess Diana. They went after Martin Luther King. They went after apparently even Kurt Cobain. Someone I read in the comments brought up Kurt Cobain. Now, Kurt Cobain apparently he was even murdered allegedly by, I won't say her name, but so all of these people are being murdered, and there's something fishy going on. So. And like I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't care if I get canceled. I don't care. Something's going on with Megyn Kelly. I don't trust that. Megyn Kelly. At first when I saw the Megyn Kelly tribute to Charlie Kirk, something was off about it. Something was off. And then I saw recently a few more episodes that Megyn Kelly gave, and she is like, I don't trust Megyn Kelly. Like, I don't trust that bitch. Like, Megyn Kelly, I used to like Megyn Kelly. Actually, before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I actually really liked Megyn Kelly. And then now with this whole Megyn Kelly tribute to Charlie Kirk, suddenly the way I saw her talking about him, and then on top of it, Candace Owens, Candace Owens is coming out with a different story. And I believe Candace Owens. I don't believe Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, her version of the whole Charlie Kirk assassination is very different than Candace Owens' version of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Like they're both their theories as to what happened. Megyn Kirk's theory is like she's a nut job, Megyn Kelly. I can tell Megyn Kelly's a nut job. She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And she's just using the Charlie Kirk death to promote her tour, the Megyn Kelly tour. Megyn Kelly's using this whole thing as a publicity stunt for her Megyn Kelly brand. I can totally tell. I could see through Megyn Kelly. I don't think Megyn Kelly actually cares about Charlie Kirk. Now, on the other hand, watching Candace Owens, I can tell Candace Owens actually cared about Charlie Kirk. And Candace Owens is set. She is set on finding the truth. She is picking apart that story. Candace Owens is picking apart every detail of that story. Now you go watch Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly was like, she's talking to the investigator, the whatever investigator, I think it was FBI, but Megyn Kelly has her on a show, some sort of investigator, and then Megyn Kelly starts off and it's like, so can we, like, is there any kind of link that he was transgender? Like, but then you go to watch the Candace Owens thing, and Candace Owens is like, this doesn't make sense. How did he change? Why does there not better pictures on the roof of him on the roof? How does he disassemble this gun so quickly? Why did he change his clothes? Why, like 30 hours? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? Like Candace Owens, she's picking apart every single detail, any detail that doesn't make sense or doesn't add up. Candace Owens is going through all of the details, and then when Candace Owens shows the video of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli president, the way he speaks about Charlie Kirk, and then the fact that Candace Owens said that they had an intervention with Charlie Kirk a few weeks before he was murdered because they didn't like the way that Charlie Kirk was talking about Israel. Jesus, Candace Owens is putting it all together for us. And then you go watch Megyn Kelly, and listen, I don't even like like I'm a homosexual man, and a real homosexual man would never advocate for cutting a dick off. Like that, we don't do that. Like gay men like dick. We don't cut dicks off. So we do not agree with transgender ideology. Like it's literally the opposite of gay. The opposite of homosexual is transgender. Because gay men, real gay men, they love dick, and then transgender people want to cut the dick off. And so anyone who wants to cut the dick off is crazy. And this is the way real gay people believe. Real gay people, we think that any person who wants to cut a dick off is a nut job. Like imagine a transgender person going up to a bunch of gay men and they're all talking, and then the transgender person starts talking about cutting off dicks. The gay man would be like, "You're not touching my," like, you know, the gay man would be like, "Get out of here, you freak." That's the way gay men feel. Gay men is the opposite of transgender. Like gay men, real gay men would never cut off a dick. Okay, that's not what they do. It's like if you read the definition of homosexual, gay men love dick. Gay men love men. Okay, men who like men. Gay men, that's literally the definition of homosexual. So we are the opposite. Gay men are the opposite of transgender. So I don't even like, I'm not defending transgender at all. I'm not defending the transgender at all. But what I'm saying is that you go into Megyn Kelly, you watch her show, which is a mega platform. She's got millions of platform. And she's literally like not asking about the gun. She's not asking about, well, you could tell she's biased, is what I'm saying. You could tell she's extremely biased. And she's the type of person that would totally derail in a real proper investigation. Like Megyn Kelly is the person you do not want investigating because she comes right out with her bias. She clearly has an agenda. She's using Charlie Kirk just to elevate her status. She's fake. She's not genuine. It's better to just admit if you don't like Charlie Kirk, or if you're just not a huge fan of him, or if maybe you think it's sad but you don't really know him, you never really knew him, so you're not like gonna bend over crying, you know what I mean? Then maybe it's better to just admit that. But then when Megyn Kelly, when I see her do her fake crying, that was totally fake. Like I can see through people. I can see through fake tears. I can tell when there's genuine tears. I can tell when someone really cares about someone, and I can tell when it's fake. And Megyn Kelly, I was watching the Megyn Kelly. It was making me sick watching Megyn Kelly. In my opinion, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe Megyn Kelly really did love Charlie Kirk. But I got the sense, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, this is just what I felt, and I might be wrong, okay? But it seemed fake to me. Megyn Kelly seemed fake. Her whole agenda seems fake. Like her whole agenda, it seems like she has an agenda. Meanwhile, Candace Owens, on the other hand, those were real tears. Candace Owens, I felt it. Like I could feel the pain radiating through Candace Owens' face. And if you saw 2 weeks ago, Candace Owens, there was a spark in her. Like Candace Owens had this spark. And after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I saw the life drain from Candace Owens' eyes. You could see that this woman is extremely distraught over the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Like you could see it, like the energy left her body. Like Candace Owens, half of her body drained from how emotional the emotional she's been going through after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Then you go to watch Megyn Kelly, and she's bouncing around. Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly's with the fake tears. Megyn Kelly's doing the fake tears, bouncing around. She's announcing her tour, the Megyn Kelly tour, which of course is going to have ample security now. And then she's like pretending as if, oh, she's going to do some tribute to Charlie Kirk on her Megyn Kelly tour. I don't believe her for a second. I don't believe Megyn Kelly. I'm sorry. And I was one of the biggest fans of Megyn Kelly, but I'm seeing a different side of Megyn Kelly right now. And I don't trust her. I don't believe her. Okay. I've been burned by women before. And listen, like this is not an anti-woman rant, because I'm telling you right now that I 100% believe that Candace Owens, she really loved Charlie Kirk. She really cared for him. They were, and she, like you saw the pictures, Candace Owens showed the videos. They were close. They were mega close. And then I go to watch Megyn Kelly, and I see these fake tears coming from Megyn Kelly, and I could see that they're not genuine. And so I'm sorry. I'm sorry if anyone in here is a Megyn Kelly fan. And you know, and I used to promote Megyn Kelly. Like I used to, on my live streams, I used to say, hey, go check out Megyn Kelly. I will not tell people to check out her out anymore. I do not believe her. I do not believe her. I think she is fake. I think there's something going on here with Megyn Kelly. She's fake. She might even be in on it. I'm telling you. And I saw the same thing with Netanyahu, with the Israeli prime minister. It was Israeli president. So Candace Owens, she showed a video of the way that the Israeli president Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, the way he reacted, like this wasn't, there was no emotion. This was a fake person. This is a person who was trying to do public relations. When he was supposed to be responding about Charlie Kirk, he made it all about Israel. He was making, like, trying to make Israel look good. Then he tried to play the victim himself about mentioning the Holocaust. Like, this guy is a sociopath. So this is not an anti-woman rant, because like I said, I am siding with Candace Owens on this one. And Candace Owens, which by the way, she was calling out Megyn Kelly just a few weeks ago. I'm siding with Candace Owens. On top of that, I'm also calling out Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli president. And then the fact that Candace Owens, she puts it together for all of us. She picks about the story. She goes through that story with a fine-tooth comb. She mentions the fact that the gun, how could the gun be disassembled so quickly? Why would he change his clothes? He technically, the shooter never confessed, really. He basically was arrested allegedly for the fact that his father turned him in, but technically the shooter never confessed himself. And the father apparently, if I remember correctly, was given some sort of $1 million bounty or something. So of course, if you dangle a $1 million bounty, everyone's gonna start turning in their family. Like suddenly you're gonna get like millions of calls across America. Oh, their cousin Cletus did it, or everyone's gonna try to get that $1 million bounty. So of course everyone's gonna call and say that their son or their husband or their father or their friend or whatever that they did. So there's something really fishy going on with this whole story. It's not adding up. It's not making sense. I mean, listen. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about Megyn Kelly. I could be wrong. Maybe Megyn Kelly really does, but in my opinion, in my intuition, because sometimes in life you just gotta go. Listen. You have to choose who you trust. You have to be really careful who you trust, right? And this is just good advice in general. I'm not talking about Megyn Kelly no more. Now this is just advice in general. If ever you meet someone, if you talk to someone, you listen to someone, and something's off. You see these horror movies, right? If you ever watch these horror movies, you could see in the horror movies something was off about that guy or that woman, right? Something was off about the guy or something was off about the woman. So you have to trust your survival instincts, okay? And if I was ever hanging off of a cliff, I would not expect Megyn Kelly to come rescue me. I might expect Candace Owens to pull me over the cliff edge and rescue me, but I wouldn't expect Megyn Kelly. So I'm just telling you like it is. I would not trust Megyn Kelly with my life 100%. I do not trust her. I do not think she has good motives. I could see the fakeness. I could see her being fake. And I've seen that in women before and men. I've seen men be fake. I've seen women be fake. And I don't believe Megyn Kelly. And, Candace Owens, when she was doing her live stream, she was mentioning that there's certain people that are being fake. She didn't call out Megyn Kelly specifically, but I think that, in my opinion, Megyn Kelly is fake. I think she's fake, and I think Candace Owens was actually referring to other people, but there are a lot of fake people pretending to care about Charlie Kirk. There's a lot of fake people pretending to care about Charlie Kirk. These people don't care about Charlie Kirk. They're just using him to elevate their platform or to try to announce their tour, their Megyn Kelly tour. Like, so no, I don't. I could be wrong. Like, I could be wrong about Megyn Kelly, but I don't trust her. And I think everyone just go watch her yourself. Go watch the Megyn Kelly tribute to Charlie Kirk. Go watch the Megyn Kelly where she tries to grill the investigator about, oh, she tries to like make it a trans narrative. Like, this woman is nuts. And trust me, listen, I'm not defending trans at all. In fact, I actually am the first one. If it's a trans shooter, I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be up on stage, be like, it's a trans shooter. If I heard it was a trans shooter, I would be up on stage telling everyone it's a trans shooter. But what I'm telling you is Candace Owens. I believe that Candace Owens actually cares about Charlie Kirk. And if Candace Owens believed it was a trans shooter or if this was some sort of trans thing, Candace Owens would be all over it. Okay, Candace Owens would be telling us and showing us the receipts. But right now, Candace Owens, the narrative is not a trans narrative with Candace Owens. It's an Israel narrative. And Candace Owens, she's bringing the receipts, Candace Owens. If you just watch the Candace Owens live streams, like she brings the receipts, she shows the evidence, she shows the video, she shows the proof. Like, she's really picking apart the story. So it's like totally two different narratives. It's like you watched Megyn Kelly and they're trying to make it some trans narrative, and then you watch Candace Owens, who actually picks apart the story, who actually goes through the evidence, who actually pulls apart the holes in the story, and you can clearly see that is an Israeli narrative. I believe the Israeli narrative. I believe that Charlie Kirk was turning against Israel and then they assassinated. That's what I believe, but I could be wrong. I recognize that Megyn Kelly, she's a bit older than Charlie Kirk. They never really knew each other that personal that well. But what I'm telling you is that when someone is, it's the same with Netanyahu. It's the same with Prime Minister, President of Israel, President Israeli Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu. You could see the fakeness in his response. You could see that there was no emotion, there was no compassion. He did not care. Okay, this was a person who was reading a script, who was doing a public relations publicity stunt for Israel. This was not a person who really cared about Charlie Kirk, and you could see that. And when Candace Owens showed the Benjamin Netanyahu interview where he was addressing what happened to Charlie Kirk, you could see that. Candace Owens didn't even need to say anything. She just showed the video. Like Candace Owens didn't say, "Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu is being fake. Israeli Prime Minister President Benjamin Netanyahu is being fake." Candace Owens didn't even have to say that. She just showed the video. I'm like, I looked at the video. We all saw the video, and we're like, this is not a person who loved Charlie Kirk. This is not a person who is sad or upset or angry that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This is a person who's a sociopath. President of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a person who's more concerned with his protecting precious Israel and publicity stunt for Israel, and then on top of it, tries to even then make himself look like the victim, bringing up the Holocaust and making Jews look like the victim once again, bringing up the Holocaust. This is a sociopath. Like, if like, this is not a person who turns around and says, "Oh my God, I want to know who did this. We want to find out who did this. We want to find the truth. We're gonna pick apart the story." This is what Candace Owens is doing. Candace Owens, she's not like, she's trying to, go after them transgenders. Candace Owens is not thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna like try to spin this to try to go after transgenders." Candace Owens, believe me, if it was a transgender, Candace Owens, whoever it is, whoever murdered Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens will hold them accountable, whether it's a transgender or not. But what I'm saying is, you can clearly see when you watch Megyn Kelly, she's like trying to spin a whole transgender narrative, which is totally derailing the real narrative. And the real narrative, when you watch Candace Owens, you can clearly see that Israel did this. Israel took Charlie Kirk out. The evidence is all pointing to Israel. The evidence is not pointing to transgender. Like, listen, trust me, I'm a homosexual man, and I would never cut a dick off. I think that people who want to cut dicks off are nut jobs. And if it was a transgender shooter, I would be the first one to tell everyone it was a transgender shooter. But if it's not the case, and it's derailing the actual narrative, then you're not bringing justice to the people who deserve to, who need to be go after. You're not actually getting justice for the going after the real killer. So we want to go after the real killer. We want to find out who the real killer was. And anyone who tries to spin a whole narrative that's opposite, that's just part of their bias, and this is the whole Megyn Kelly transgender bias stuff. She's totally derailing and even almost covering up for the real killers. And if you watch Candace Owens, it all points to Israel. Everything that Candace Owens shows us, it points to Israel. The fact that Charlie Kirk had an intervention with this Israeli Jewish people like 3 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. The fact that Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel, had argued with Charlie Kirk about the way Charlie Kirk was suddenly going against Israel. The way that, Israel has a history of doing this type of stuff. The fact Charlie Kirk was speaking out against the genocide that Israel was doing on Palestine. Like, all of these things are adding up. The fact that the main story doesn't make sense. The fact that, like, the Candace Owens is easily picking apart the story and saying that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. And then Megyn Kelly, you go watch Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly's not picking apart the story. Megyn Kelly, every chance Megyn Kelly gets, she's like, so is there some sort of transgender link here? Like, every time you watch Megyn Kelly with the Charlie Kirk assassination, she's like, can we remind? So what did the bullet say? Oh, the bullet said B on the bullets had a B on it, and she's like, oh, B transgender. It must be transgender link. Like that's, you go watch the Megyn Kelly, and then suddenly she's like, oh, this guy, he had a boyfriend. Let me tell you, honey, gay people you don't know real gay men, okay? You are an idiot. Gay men we do not cut dicks off. Do you not know how to read the definition of a homosexual? Men who like men. And what do men have? Dicks. Men have dicks. If a man no longer has a dick, it's no longer a man, and therefore would be disqualified to be part of homosexuality. Homosexuality is men who like men. Men and gay men like dick. And if a man no longer has a dick, then he is disqualified. He is exiled. The tribe has spoken. You must get off the island. You must get up. You must leave. You remove your dick. You are no longer gay. You are out of here. You are exiled from the gay community. Like you are, and it's not even a community. It's like this whole thing is screwed up. This whole situation is screwed up. I cannot stand these people are liars. These people are filthy liars. And you could tell Megyn Kelly, she's like, oh, well, she's like 80% going after trans, but then she's going to throw in a gay thing and suggest that they were gay. No, this is how I know you're an idiot, Megyn Kelly, because gay men love dick. Gay men would never, ever advocate for anyone to remove a dick. Cutting dicks off is what crazy people do. Gay men do not cut dicks off. The whole point of being gay is gay men love dick. So for you to say that, oh, they were transgender and they were gay and they were lesbian and they were straight and they were vegans and they were like, no, you dumb. They were meat eaters and they were vegans as well. They were Republicans and conservatives. They were Canadians and Americans. They were they were Nazis and communists and Lutherans. No, no, honey, that's not how. That's you don't know anything about gay people. You don't know anything about real gay men. Okay, gay men do not cut dicks off. We would never ever advocate for cutting a dick off. That is like the anti-gay. That's like the antichrist of being gay. That's like the opposite of being gay. Gay men do not cut dicks off, okay? And in fact, gay men, real gay homosexual men, view transgenders as nut jobs because they want to cut dicks off. That's like blasphemy. That's blasphemy to homosexuals. Blasphemy to homosexual men is anyone who wants to cut a dick off. That's blasphemy. Okay, the transgender person would be put in a mental asylum if they want to cut the dick off. Okay, that's body mutilation. That's body mutilation. Cutting a dick off is body mutilation. So homosexual men, real homosexual men, we do not cut dicks off. We do not agree with what they do with this whole body mutilation. Homosexual men do not agree. So for Megyn Kelly to say, oh, they're transgender, and they're gay. No, honey, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Because gay is the opposite of transgender. Okay, so if these people are nut jobs who want to cut their dicks off, they are not gay. Okay, if they cut a dick off, they cannot be gay. Like literally, the whole definition of homosexual is men who like men. Gay men love dick. That's the whole point of a man. The dick makes the man. Okay, if the man no longer has a dick, it's not a man no more. So then they don't qualify as being gay. It's like imagine she starts saying, "Oh, she's a meat eater, but she's also a vegan." What? Are you crazy? Like I have to lie down. What? You're gonna report that it's a meat eater? They like to eat meat and they eat meat and they eat steaks, but they're also a vegan? No, honey. They're total opposites. They're total opposites, honey. A meat eater is the opposite of a vegan. Those people cannot be the same. You cannot say a gay person is a trans person. They're not the same. They are total opposites. Okay, gay men love dick, and then transgender nut jobs want to cut the dicks off. They're total opposites. Gay is the opposite of transgender. These people are we're enemies. We're mortal enemies. We do not any person who wants to cut a dick off is the enemy of the gay people because gay men love dick. So any nut job who wants to cut a dick off is a nut job, and that's body mutilation, and that's the opposite of gay. So that would be just as stupid as trying to turn around and say, oh, vegans are also meat eaters. Oh, it's a vegan meat eater. No, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a vegan meat eater. It's the opposite. Vegan is the opposite of a meat eater. Anyways. I'm gonna go to comments. Someone came in and said they think this is a recorded loop. This is not a recorded loop. This is not a recorded loop. This is not a recorded loop. No, I'm just joking. No, this is not a recorded loop, okay? This is a real live stream, so hold on. Let me go to comments. Joel Smith came in and said, you're all effing crazy. This world is crazy, okay? This world is crazy. It feels like, can someone talk about this? I know, I don't even know how to, there's sometimes things that happen in life. How do you describe it? How do you describe this feeling? It feels like we're in an alternative universe. Like Charlie Kirk being assassinated in such a public way. First off, yes, I acknowledge that people die every day. People die every day, right? But to see Charlie Kirk be assassinated in such a public, gruesome way, now I understand how the people felt after they saw JFK get assassinated. It is it's very traumatic to see that. And like, I'm not, listen, people die every day, and maybe the real travesty is the fact that, we are blinded to how death is so common. Death is way more common than people realize, and it happens constantly. Death, people are dying all the time, but for the fact that we don't look that in that direction, we're not noticing it as much, but really it's there. And it took Charlie Kirk to get assassinated for suddenly us to like, oh my God, this isn't some, we're not, that life is this feels like, I can't even describe it. And, I'm sorry if it sounds like rambling at this point, but don't you have this feeling like we're in some sort of bizarro world? Like, it's so bizarre to see one day Charlie Kirk is there, he's doing his Charlie Kirk thing. The next day he's gone. Like, this is traumatic. This is extremely traumatic. And to see him, like the way he was assassinated, it's almost as if like it's out of a movie. Like, it's unbelievable. It's so shocking. So anyways, I'll stop talking about that specific thing, but it affects you. If you're not a sociopath, it affects you. I'm sure if you're a sociopath, you're used to people being murdered in front of your eyes. It might not affect you, but I am not a sociopath, and I'm telling you, seeing that was extremely traumatic. Okay, like, and this is how traumatic it was. I don't really know Charlie Kirk. Was never a huge fan of him. I liked him, and I agreed with a lot of what he said. In fact, I used to watch his videos, and I used to think to myself, I actually agree with Charlie Kirk on that one. And I kept saying that often more than not. A lot of his videos, I was like, yeah, I definitely agree with Charlie Kirk there. I agree with Charlie Kirk there. But would I have gone all the way from Canada to United States to see one of his tours? No. Am I going to go to his website and buy a bunch of Charlie Kirk t-shirts? No. Like, I'm not like that, right? I'm not like a super fan of his, but I agreed with a lot of what he said. And then for me, to see him get assassinated in such a brutal way, like, and for it to invoke an emotion in not only in me, but in half the world, or all of the world, it suddenly makes everyone really cognizant and aware of how death can strike at any moment. It's like those Final Destination movies, right? The Final Destination movies. It's suddenly seeing Charlie Kirk get assassinated in front of our eyes. It really shows the world how death can strike at any moment. Anyone who is there today, one day they're there, the next day they could be gone. It's really scary. It's really scary thought. And I wouldn't be surprised if psychologists are suddenly there's an increase in psychologists who are getting appointments, because there's probably a lot of teenagers. I mean, the University of Utah should offer free psychological counseling to those University of Utah students for years. I mean, this was really traumatic. I mean, it's traumatic just to watch it on a video. It's traumatic. Just imagine being there. Imagine being there, seeing Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of your eyes. Like, the University of Utah, they should be offering free psychological counseling to their students for years after that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a major spike in psychological appointments, and not just from University of Utah students, but every just people even just watching the video online is very traumatic, you know. So it's very traumatic what happened. But as far as Megyn Kelly, because I saw another comment about Megyn Kelly, and someone came in and said, "How is what I'm saying different from Megyn Kelly? How are we different? This is how we're different, okay? I'm not on here trying to profit off of Charlie Kirk. I'm not doing some sort of tour, Megyn Kelly tour. And the other thing that's different too is I'm not derailing the truth. I'm not trying. At least I'm not intentionally derailing the truth. Let me explain. Let me explain. I have a really good explanation. Candace Owens, she is clearly trying to find the real assassins of Charlie Kirk. This is very clear when you watch Candace Owens. She's picking apart the evidence. She is going through the videos. She is going through the testimonies. She is picking out everything that doesn't make sense. Candace Owens is acting like a real investigator. Megyn Kelly is not picking apart the evidence. She's not picking apart the stuff in the story that doesn't make sense. Megyn Kelly is not, oh, hey, how did the guy disassemble the gun? Like, that should be the headline for Megyn Kelly. But instead, Megyn Kelly, she's all in this whole bubble of transgender. Let's try to, how can we make this a transgender story? And then you go watch Candace Owens, and I don't even remember yesterday at all when I saw Candace Owens. I don't remember her mentioning transgender at all. If she did, it was like for one second. But then the rest of the 90% of the live stream, the Candace Owens live stream, it was all pointing to Israel. It was pointing to Israel. It was pointing to the Israeli president, the President Benjamin Netanyahu. It was pointing to Israel. It was pointing to the fact that Charlie Kirk had an intervention apparently a few weeks before he was assassinated because Israel didn't like the way that Charlie Kirk was suddenly turning on Israel, condemning Israel for their ethnic cleansing and genocide in Gaza. So Candace Owens was clearly acting like a real investigator, and all of the evidence, all of the plot holes in the story, the testimony, everything together, it really made you believe that Israel is behind this, right? And then you go to watch Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly is trying to spin a whole different narrative. So Megyn Kelly, it's like she has a mega person platform, Megyn Kelly. Like Megyn Kelly has millions of people watching. And so when she distorts the truth, or if she tries to derail the real narrative, she's really doing a disservice to Charlie Kirk. They can't both be right. How can Megyn Kelly be spinning one narrative and then Candace Owens be spinning a total another narrative, right? It can't be both transgenders and Israel that did it. So which side are you on? Do you believe it was a transgender plot, or do you believe it was Israel that's behind it? I believe it was Israel. And this is extremely shocking because I actually supported Israel a lot in the past. Not really, but I kind of agreed with them. I agreed with a lot of Israel because, I don't really see in the Middle East. I see in the Middle East they wear sheets around their head. They walk around. They chant and they have sheets around their head. They seem crazy. Like, it seems crazy. Like what they do in the Middle East, they don't even let women wear a bikini. They won't even allow a woman to wear a bikini. They make people wear sheets and wrap sheets around their bodies, and it's black sheets and you only see their eyes. It's really creepy. It all seems very crazy to me. So I was always tending to lean towards Israel's side. And in fact, I also think what's crazy is transgender people who want to chop off dicks off. That's insane. Like there would be a group of guys, a group of gay guys, group of gay army soldiers. Imagine if a transgender nut job went up to a bunch of gay army soldiers and started talking about chopping dicks off. The gay army soldiers would be like, "You're not chopping my dick off. Get away from here, you nut job. Get away from us." The gay Russian army soldiers would tell that transgender nut job to get away. You're not cutting our dicks off. How dare you start talking about cutting dicks off? That's like blasphemy against gay people. That's like any transgender nut job who starts talking about cutting dicks off. That's the most crazy thing you could say to a gay person. especially a homosexual man who loves dick. Imagine going up to a homosexual man who loves dick and some transgender nutjob starts talking about cutting dicks off. The homosexual man who loves dick would be like, get away from me, you freak. You're not cutting my dick off. You just see the group of gay guys, the group of gay army soldiers be standing there like suddenly they clutch their balls. Like, they're not touching me. Like, how dare you go up to a bunch of gay army soldiers and start talking about cutting dicks off? You crazy transgender nutjob, get away from us. Get away from here. So for Megyn Kelly to then say, oh, they were transgender and gay. No, they're the opposites. You can't be transgender and gay. These people are they're enemies. These people are mortal enemies. Anyone who wants to cut dicks off is the enemy of gay people. Gay men love dick. Like, it's literally the definition of homosexuality. It's literally the definition. Homosexual is men who like men. What do men have? Dicks. That's what makes them a man. It's literally the defining feature that makes a man a man. A big dick is what makes a man a man. And his personality, and if he acts like a dick, and he's really cocky and confident, and he's really tall, and he works for the Russian military service, like, there's a whole bunch, so that's the gay men love dick, and transgenders want to cut dicks off. That's the enemy. That's the opposite of gay. Gay men love dick, and transgenders want to cut dicks off. These people are mortal enemies. Gay people are enemies of transgender. They're the opposites. It's like saying there's a vegan that eats meat, like a meat eater that's also a vegan. You can't be both. There's no way that a meat eater could also be a vegan. These are opposites. These people are mortal enemies. Vegans are the opposites of meat eaters. These people are mortal enemies. Okay? So, as soon as Megyn Kelly said that, I'm like, this bitch is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, she's all in this whole trying to blame this whole LGBTQ community. I don't even belong to that community. Like, real homosexual men, we don't belong to that freaky community. We don't worship rainbow flags. Rainbow flags are flags for little girls. Any guy who dresses up like a woman just so he could use the little girl's bathroom, that's a straight pervert. Any guy who's trying to dress up like a woman, wear tranny clothes, dress up like a woman just so they could use the little girl's bathroom, that's a straight pervert. That's not gay. Gay men do not want to use a woman's bathroom. Real homosexual men would never use a woman's bathroom, would never use a woman's anything. Real homosexual men do not want to use a woman's bathroom, do not want to touch a woman's hair, do not want to do anything with a woman, okay? Real homosexual men, we like men. Army soldiers, Russian army soldiers, German army soldiers, men, construction workers, army soldiers, sometimes the occasional lawyer, if you're trying to get pro bono work done because you don't have money to pay for the lawyer. Like, this is real homosexuality is men that walk like men, talk like men, masculine, body hair, dicks, having a big, packing, having a big package. This is what makes men men. This is a man. This is why homosexuality exists. Because men that like men, we like hair, we like body hair, we like muscles, we like the fact that they're tall, we like the fact that they're strong, we like the fact that they have muscles, and the fact that they're cocky and they have big personalities, and and they have a job, and they're intelligent. This is what makes homosexuality homosexuality. These are the characteristics of homosexuality: intelligence, strong, tall, masculine, huge package, packing a huge package, body hair, big muscles, tough and strong. This is homosexuality. Then the opposite, the total opposite of that is girls, feminine, makeup, hair, women's bathrooms. That's the opposite of gay. A real homosexual man is not trying to get in the woman's bathroom, okay? A real homosexual man is going into the Super Bowl locker room with the Super Bowl football players. Okay, you know those big Super Bowl football players? They're big, tall, masculine guys, and they got the jock straps. Now, real homosexual men are trying to get into the Super Bowl football locker room at the Super Bowl. Real homosexual men are not going into women's bathrooms. The men who want to go into women's bathrooms, those are straight heterosexual perverts. They think that just because they put on a wig and they put on makeup and lipstick, that gives them the right to use the women's bathroom. Those are straight perverts. Those are heterosexual straight pervs. They are not gay men. They are not gay men. A real gay man would never, ever want to use the women's bathroom or the women's anything. It's the point of being gay. Men that like men. So if a man is attracted to men, he's not trying to use the women's bathroom. He's not trying to go near women, especially in the bathroom, which is so gross. Like if men think women, if gay men, if a homosexual men think that a woman is gross, and especially her in the bathroom would be even grosser, right? That's even this more disgusting. If a gay man doesn't even really want to go on a date with a woman, at least it's in public and they're having dinner. But then especially a gay man does not want to especially go near a woman and go in the bathroom with her. No gay man would ever want to go in a woman's bathroom. A real gay man do not want to go in a woman's bathroom. Any man who dresses up like a woman, who wears makeup and wears a dress and wears lipstick, any man who dresses up like a woman, who just so he can go in the women's bathroom, that's a straight heterosexual pervert. That is not a gay man. Okay? You know, it's like people trying to, imagine if someone just said, oh, that's a vegan that likes to eat meat. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a vegan that likes to eat meat. There's no such thing as a gay man who likes to have sex. Like, there's no such thing as a gay man that likes to get with women. There's no such thing as a gay man that likes to get with women. If a gay man is with a woman, it's because he's trying to get promoted or he's trying to get a job, okay? If a gay man has to get with a woman, it's because someone either put a gun to his head, or he's trying to get promoted, he's trying to get a job. Gay men do not like women, okay? And if you ever see a real vegan eating meat, it's also because someone put a gun to their head or they were offered $5 million to do it. So I'm telling you, okay? Gay men are not trying to get into women's bathroom. Gay men are not cutting their dicks off because that's crazy. That's the opposite of gay. Gay men love dicks. So there's no way that gay men will be also transgender cutting their dicks off. That's not true at all. So people gotta stop getting things twisted. And what's really pissing me off is they're derailing the actual narrative. They're derailing the truth. This isn't just some, gay rant. No, this is not what it is at all. Because I could be saying this every day about every time that I hear all of this misinformation. But what's really pissing me off right now is the fact that Megyn Kelly is trying to derail the Israel narrative. Candace Owens is putting out the Israel narrative, which I believe the Israel narrative, and I believe this to be more or less the truth, because Candace Owens is actually sitting there picking apart all of the evidence, picking apart all of the loopholes, all of the things that don't add up. Candace Owens is there picking apart the story, and then Megyn Kelly, she's just like, okay, so we're just gonna say transgenders did it, and then that'll be the day. That's literally the difference between watching Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens. Candace Owens detailed analysis, videos of Charlie Kirk. What did he say before he died? Who was talking to Charlie Kirk before he died? The intervention that Charlie Kirk had with Israel. The fact that Charlie Kirk was turning on Israel. Like, all of those things Candace Owens is showing us. And then Megyn Kelly, you go watch the Megyn Kelly show and she's like, how can they spin this to make this a transgender narrative? Like, so that's why I think that these people they're being fake. Megyn Kelly, I believe Megyn Kelly's being fake. I believe Candace Owens, I believe her. I believe she really cared for Charlie Kirk. She will find the assassin, whether it's transgender or not, whoever it is. And if it is transgender, if it turns out we find out it was transgender, Candace Owens, she will go after them too. And I would be the same. I would totally call out any person who did it, whoever the assassin is. Whether the assassin is transgender, whether the assassin is vegan, whether the assassin is a Yankees fan, whether the assassin is Canadian, whoever the assassin is, I would call out the assassin. But the point is, what's pissing me off is that all these people who are trying to derail the truth. and trying to feed us bullshit and nonsense. Like Megyn Kelly wants to sit there and say, "Oh, it said B on the bullet." Maybe that, like, this is more or less, this is more or less what Megyn Kelly is saying. She's like, "Oh, was there a B on the bullet? Does that stand for be transgender?" Like, and then Candace Owens, she's like, "Hey, this story they told us doesn't make sense. We just talked to a gun expert, a person who's expert in guns, and they just said that you cannot disable a gun. You cannot disassemble a gun within that time frame. This story doesn't make sense. How does he disable the gun and then run across the roof at the same time? Didn't make sense." Candace Owens is literally showing us the receipts, and Megyn Kelly is trying to derail us with some BS story, and it's ticking me off because we want to find the real assassin. Okay, this is anyone who cares for Charlie Kirk wants to find the real assassin. We're not trying to spin some narrative to fit your agenda. Megyn Kelly, she has the whole anti-trans agenda, which, like, I actually watched Megyn Kelly for that. But I don't want her derailing us from finding the real assassin of Charlie Kirk. And if Candace Owens is suddenly now showing us this Israel narrative, and the Israel narrative is making sense, and then Megyn Kelly's trying to go away from the Israel narrative, you know what I'm saying? So that's the issue that I have with that there. And I'm telling you, I am an expert on homosexuality. I'm telling you that there's a lot of stereotypes about gays that are not true. We don't wear feminine colors. We don't do that. We don't do rainbows. That's fake. We don't dress up like women. We don't like women. We don't dress up like women. We don't even like to talk to women. If you see me talking to a woman, it's because either she's just a friend, definitely nothing romantic, or it's because I'm trying to get a job, or it's because maybe or maybe I'm trying to get her to show me pictures of her husband. Like, if you ever see me talking to a woman, it has nothing to do. There's no romantic reason for that. There's never a romantic reason for a real homosexual to be talking to a woman. So a real homosexual would never use the woman's bathroom, because the woman's bathroom is the grossest place. It is the most, like, intimate, grossest place, disgusting place for a gay man. You will never see a gay man using a woman's bathroom. In fact, you'll never see a gay man probably using a bathroom at Taco Bell. Because Taco Bell they have gross bathrooms at Taco Bell. You won't see a gay man using a Taco Bell bathroom. You won't see a gay man using a woman's bathroom. This is just something they don't do. You will not see a vegan eating meat. You will not see a vegan eating meat. Unless, someone put a gun to that vegan's head, you will not see a vegan eating meat. So these are just things we do not do. And I am an expert. Just as much as Candace Owens, she had a gun expert who was talking, and I'm not an expert on guns. And, like, if I'm not even an expert on guns, and suddenly the gun expert is telling us there's no way that this guy could manage to disassemble this gun and then run across the roof at the same time. It just doesn't happen. And this is what Candace Owens is telling us and showing us on her show. And I'm not even a gun expert, and I can see, oh my God, like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. And I'm telling you, I'm an expert on homosexuality on men. I'm an expert on the Russian language. I studied Russian for years. I'm a scientist, mathematician. I study astronomy. And this whole Charlie Kirk assassination, it's really unnerving to me, because they just murdered someone. They murdered an innocent man, and then Megyn Kelly's trying to derail the narrative with her own agenda, with her own anti-trans agenda, with her own Megyn Kelly tour and Megyn Kelly promotion and Megyn Kelly this. Okay, and Candace Owens, she's not thinking about money right now, Candace Owens. She's not thinking about the Candace Owens tour or the Candace Owens brand. Candace Owens is full force trying to find the real assassin of Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens actually cares and wants the real assassin, whoever it is, whether it be trans, vegan, Canadian, Mexican, alien from outer space, whoever the real assassin of Charlie Kirk is. Candace Owens is trying to get to the bottom of this. She's not thinking about money. She's not thinking about her Candace Owens tour. So that's why, when I see a snake in the grass, I've been burned by snakes before. I've been betrayed by snakes, and I can't stand snakes. I can't stand fake people. I can't stand, it's a pet peeve of mine. It's a pet peeve I don't like fake people. I don't like snakes. I don't like liars and people who deceive you. And the Satan, the devil, they deceive you. And Megyn Kelly, I get the feeling that she's trying to deceive us, or at least she's just very vain, and she's only in it for herself, and she's just thinking about her concert tour tickets and stuff like that. So I like listen, I could be wrong, but I'm definitely not wrong about the gay thing because that's where I'm an expert in. I might be wrong about I might be misreading Megyn Kelly wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that Megyn Kelly's a fake person. I'm telling you that my intuition, that if I had to trust someone to save my life, I would not put my life in Megyn Kelly's hands for many reasons. In fact, it's not even just about the fact that I'm a homosexual. I just don't think Megyn Kelly cares about people in that way. She doesn't care about the common person. On the other hand, I would definitely see maybe Candace Owens coming to my rescue. I would not see Megyn Kelly at all coming to my rescue. Megyn Kelly would be like, oh, thinning of the herd. Oh, daughter. Oh, oh, that shit. Megyn Kelly would be like, oh, that's the way life goes. Sayonara, buddy. So that's just the way I feel. But of course, and that's just the way. We all have the right to, if we believe we're being deceived or lied to, we don't have to believe everything everyone says. And I'm just telling you, I don't believe Megyn Kelly. I don't believe she's genuine. I don't believe she cares about Charlie Kirk. Okay? There's way more homosexual men that will care about Charlie Kirk just for the fact that he was a tall man, a tall, successful, good-looking man. There's more homosexual men that would actually care more about Charlie Kirk than Megyn Kelly will care about Charlie Kirk. Okay? But I am in no way saying that Megyn Kelly is a fake person. I just don't believe her. I don't have to, especially, how can you expect everyone to sit here when Candace Owens gives us one narrative and Megyn Kelly gives us a totally different narrative? We can't believe both. We can't say both are true if they're especially when they're so different. When the Candace Owens narrative is so different from the Megyn Kelly narrative, when the Candace Owens narrative is so different from the Megyn Kelly narrative, we can't say both are correct. So you can't expect me to sit here and say, oh, that Candace Owens is probably right and Megyn Kelly's right when they're saying almost totally different opposite things. So who am I going to believe? I believe Candace Owens. I don't believe Megyn Kelly. So sorry, but that's just how I feel. And I don't, this is really scary because it could happen to anyone tomorrow. Like, any one of us could be next, right? Any one of us could be next, and then the next thing you know, imagine you were just assassinated, and then Megyn Kelly is throwing everyone for a loop, and she's like derailing the narrative. And you imagine you're up in heaven or wherever you are, and you're like banging on the wall, trying to, hey, Megyn Kelly, stop lying, stop, stop derailing the truth. Like, I would just imagine someone who was just assassinated, and they're up in heaven, and they're like banging on the door, trying to get people's attention, telling everyone, hey, Megyn Kelly, stop lying, stop derailing the truth, stop. It was obviously Israel. And Megyn Kelly was like, but was it really Israel? Just because Charlie Kirk, just because he suddenly turned on Israel, just because Israel threatened him, just because weeks before he was assassinated, Israel had an intervention. Megyn Kelly's like, well, but let's look at this trans narrative a little bit more. And then the person who was assassinated, they're like, it's clearly Israel. Israel was behind all the other assassinations. It was clearly Israel. They were behind all the other assassinations. They're literally ethnic cleansing Gaza. They're literally committing genocide. It was obviously Israel. So, but I believe Candace Owens is right on this one. And that's just what I believe. Another argument which people are making, which is driving me crazy because it's so not true, is this mentality that gay people have to defend lesbians, have to defend transgenders, have to defend this whole LGBTQ stuff. Gay people and lesbians, another opposite, like total opposites. We don't get along. Like gay people and lesbians do not belong in the same room together because they're the opposites. Total opposites. It's like putting vegans in a room with meat eaters. It's like putting vegans in a room with meat eaters. They're the total opposites. They're not going to get along. Real lesbians and real gay men do not get along. Lesbians like women. Gay men like men. We have nothing in common. We are like the opposites. So no, this whoever lumped gays together with lesbians, together with transgenders, together with plus 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 all this other crap. No, 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 no. Let me tell you, the whole LGBTQ community, whatever the crap they have never helped the real gay homosexual man. Never. Ever, ever, ever. Never. And the fact that they have a rainbow flag as their flag, no real homosexual man, no gladiator, no construction worker, no army soldier, beautiful, tall, masculine Russian army soldier would ever go into a building with a rainbow flag on it. The rainbow flag is the opposite of masculinity. The rainbow flag is like emasculating. The rainbow flag is the symbol of emasculation. Emasculation is what China and Africa and India, they're trying to emasculate men. They're trying to remove masculinity from the man because the man is the provider. The man is a man. Like they're trying to demasculate. They're trying to emasculate men. And the rainbow flag is emasculating to men, especially real homosexual men. Like it's emasculating. A rainbow flag is emasculating. It is one of the most emasculating symbols that exists against men. All men, not just gay men, but men in general. The rainbow flag is extremely emasculating to gay men and men in general. All men. No gladiator from no Roman gladiator, no masculine football player, no construction worker, no really strong masculine man like James Bond 007. You put a rainbow flag on these people, you emasculate these men. A rainbow flag is emasculating. That whole organization, it's only meant for one group of people. They pretend as if, lesbians and this and that. No, they're only doing it for the group of weirdos that like to use the little girl's bathroom. That's literally the only people those people serve and those people are. Those people, those LGBTQ people, it's not real lesbian, not gay, not transgender, not this, not that. The only people from that whole LGBTQ place is transgender weirdos, creeps who like to use the women's bathroom. Straight heterosexual. They're straight heterosexual perverted men that want to use the little girl's bathroom. That's what that whole entity is. I know real gay men, and they would never go to one of those LGBTQ events. They'd never wear a rainbow flag. I know masculine Russian army soldiers that you would never know in a million years were closeted, were secretly gay. And I know real Russian military army soldiers in the Russian army. They would never wear a rainbow flag. If they wore a rainbow flag, not only would it be emasculating and embarrassing for a man to wear a rainbow, but it would also get them kicked out of the Russian military. So I know real homosexual men. I am a real homosexual man. I know real homosexual men. We do not wear rainbow flags. We do not support the rainbow flag. The rainbow flag is emasculating. It is girly. It is feminine. It is anti-man. It is the opposite of man. It is feminine. Gay man, the real homosexuality, the real definition of homosexual is men who like men. We do not like girly things. We do not like women. We do not like long hair. We do not like fingernails. We do long fingernails. We do not like makeup. Those are all feminine things. We do not like rainbow flags. Those are feminine. That's feminine. That's anti-man. That's anti-masculine. That's emasculating to men. Is the rainbow flag is emasculating to all men. The rainbow flag is emasculating to all men, especially homosexual men who like men. The only people who love that whole rainbow flag organization, it only serves the transgender, straight, heterosexual creeps that want to dress up like women just so they could use the little girl's bathroom. That's the only people those people represent. Those people are the whole rainbow flag. So, and especially, when I was growing up, I knew something was off because as soon as I see lesbians and gays get put together, and I didn't know much about transgenders when I was growing up, honestly, because I'm a real homosexual man, and when I was growing up, I didn't really know much about transgenders. They kind of creep me out. They look like clowns. They're creepy. Like when they put on all that makeup. When the transgenders put on all that makeup, I'm scared of clowns. They look like clowns. You see that? Oh, gross! That RuPaul Drag Race TV show, whatever that they have on Netflix now. I'm like, why is Netflix showing? Don't show me this. I'm like calling Netflix about to cancel my Netflix subscription. The guy's like, why are you canceling Netflix? Because this creepy, weird RuPaul transgender drag queen parade thing was shown in the screensaver. I don't know how to turn the screensaver off. I cannot stand the Netflix screensaver. You go to pause your Netflix just for a minute to go to the bathroom. You go to pause the Netflix, and the Netflix comes on with a screensaver. And the screensaver shows all these movies that I don't like, that I don't want on my television. I don't want that being shown in my basement, in my house, in my living room, in my upstairs. I don't want that here. I don't want that there. I don't want that anywhere. I don't want that crap shown on my TV. So I don't want to go to the bathroom and then come back from the bathroom and then see a screensaver showing pictures of RuPaul's Drag Race on my TV. Why is that crap on my TV? I never consented or asked for that crap, especially on Netflix. If I did not watch the show, if I did not like the show, if I did not even have it in my show list, why is it showing it in the Netflix screensaver? Huh, Netflix? Explain that. Please, Netflix, explain that. And also, I don't like horror movies. Horror movies scare me. I don't like horror movies. I watch comedy. I watch romance. I watch Russian films. Many Russian movies, Russian military films. I watch Russian. I watch romance. I watch comedy. I don't like horror movies. And clowns are creepy. I especially don't like clowns. And the transgender that pile on the makeup. The transgender clowns that pile on the makeup. They look like clowns. They creep me out. I don't like horror movies, and I don't like all that creepy clown transgender clowns crap. So explain Netflix. I go to the bathroom. I put on the Netflix. I pause Netflix. I never put on that stupid screensaver. I don't know how to stop the screensaver. I don't know how to turn the screensaver off. If I pause a video, if I pause a movie, I want the movie to remain. I want it to be paused right on the scene of the movie. I do not want to go to the bathroom and then come back and then there's images on my TV, this stupid creepy screensaver showing RuPaul's Drag Race, then showing other stupid TV shows that I don't want to see. Young Sheldon. I don't like that TV show. I don't like Big Bang Theory. That's the most dumbest TV series. That's not even funny, that show, Big Bang Theory with Sheldon. Oh, it's just stupid jokes and it's not even funny. And it's almost as if they're making fun of scientists and mathematicians. It's not real funny jokes, the Big Bang Theory. So I don't like the Big Bang Theory. I don't like that other spin-off show, Young Sheldon. I don't like that show. I don't like RuPaul Drag Race, that Queen show. I don't like horror movies. I don't like Scream. That scares me. I don't like I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't like those horror movies. I don't want them showing up on my TV. On my TV, the only things that should come up on if there is a Netflix screensaver, which I don't even like, but if there is a Netflix screensaver, the only thing that should show up on someone's screensaver is the movies they actually watch or like. And just because you watch a movie doesn't mean you even liked it. It should even show up on your screensaver. So Netflix has some explaining to do, Netflix. Now, only for the fact that Netflix is pretty good at translating shows into Russian. They do a lot of awful. They offer a lot of Russian translation. Only for that fact, I'm still subscribed to Netflix. But I swear, when I saw that RuPaul Drag Race creepy clown transgender clown stuff on my TV, I swear to God, I called Netflix and I said, if you do not disable this screensaver, I will cancel my Netflix subscription if you do not tell me how to turn the stupid screensaver off on Netflix. And they said they can't turn it off. They don't know how to turn it off. It's a built-in feature to Netflix. It does it for everyone. So is everyone's Netflix promoting this RuPaul Drag Race creepy clown thing? Is everyone's Netflix like imagine you have a woman who's a single woman who it does like she doesn't like horror movies. I mean, I know there's a lot of women that creepily are obsessed with horror movies. I don't know why, but there are actually a lot of women that like horror movies. But let's say you have a woman who's a nice, gentle woman. She's a nice woman. She doesn't like horror movies. She doesn't like scary things. You know, she gets up, she goes to the bathroom, she comes back, and the next thing you know, on her television, she sees pictures of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Imagine the Queen of England, Princess Diana, and who knows, maybe Princess Diana liked horror movies. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, like let's take a nice home woman. What about a nun? What about a priest? Or what about a Catholic nun? Like let's take a nun, whatever. Let's just take a woman and she goes and then she comes back and then suddenly on her screen is like movies, gross movies, horror movies. Like we don't want to see that. We don't want to see. Why is Netflix, you're like a $1 billion corporation. Who in the marketing department thought it was a good idea to have a screensaver that shows movies that we don't like or that we never subscribed to or that we never even watched? Why would you show horror movies especially on a screensaver? Are you crazy? Who runs Netflix? Everyone should cancel their Netflix subscription just for the stupidity that they think that it's appropriate to put horror movies on screensavers. Especially people who are sensitive, who don't want to watch, who don't want to see the horrifying things. It's okay if you are a person who likes horror movies, that's one thing. But if you're a person who doesn't like horror movies, who doesn't like to see gore, who can't handle seeing blood, who can't handle seeing gory scenes, if you're that type of person, you shouldn't have to be subjected to those images just because those idiots at Netflix don't realize how stupid that is, how that you have a built-in screensaver in Netflix. Every time you go to pause the movie, you need to get up to make popcorn. You come back, you're watching a comedy movie, you're watching a nice romantic comedy movie with Jennifer Lopez. Next thing you know, the screensaver comes on and starts showing you movie posters of horror movies, like showing you pictures, graphic scenes of horror movies. In fact, at one time I was going to watch, I was watching a funny movie. It wasn't Bride